Alrighty. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final week of the EDL pregame show. This is our seventh week of the entire first season, and obviously, we are going into finals. So, there isn't a lot to talk about from last week, but obviously, from the semis, we had CB Rookies versus Burger Flip Esports on stream, and that ended in a 2-0 for CB Rookies. And our second game was Monkeys in Training versus Chicago Dragons, which ended in a 2-1 for MIT. So we're going to start with Matt Pizza. Your thoughts on the stream game?
So the stream game, right? It was a really good series. Like, unfortunately, they did end up losing, right? Like BFE was like they kind of got rolled, unfortunately, right? CB Rookies, they've been a strong team throughout the whole entire series, and like we knew them as like one of the top two teams, like right, like only second to Chicago Dragons, which we'll talk about in later. But yeah, I mean, like they had pitiful play. Like always, he was just a strong player. He's always like the support player of the team, no matter which role he plays, right? Like he got things done, and like yeah, no, but yeah, that's me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, CB Rookies Burger Flip Esports. It was a bit more obviously one-sided as we were going into it, and um, Burger Flip, like we knew that this team was coming in with like obviously a weaker season than CB Rookies. But we did see some signs of life from Burger Flip. Was I do think
Sorry.
like I did talk about it last week, but it was when they put Kenzie on champions like Camille and Fiora, like just carry champions. They moved away from just your typical tank champions or just, meat shields or whatever have you. And unfortunately, Kenzie didn't get to play that last week. So I feel like part of why Burger Flip lost was they kind of found something else that worked, but they weren't able to recreate it with their eSub.
hmm
So those are my thoughts on the series, but otherwise it was like a really, really strong series coming from CB Rookies. Like it wasn't close at all, and it was very, I don't know, it was expected in one sense, but again, CB Rookies, they're in the finals for a reason. So, but how about you, Clutch? What are your thoughts?
So I'm gonna be honest here. Um, BFE did the biggest mistake in IBS, which is drafting Azir. Uh, I am plat 2, and I consistently will shuffle the other team the opposite way. Um, and these people are silver. So, I'm not necessarily saying Azir is bad, but please don't ever pick Azir in any elo that is not like that champ is so hard. And I mean, Jason KB's a really good player, but like it is so hard to execute, dude. If you can execute Azir in silver and look good, go play in a diamond league. Like you're a literal god. But that's whatever. I mean, game one, BFE didn't have a chance. They just got absolutely stomped all
Yep,
across the board. I mean,
32-5. It was not
yeah, it's
not pretty.
not even close.
Yeah.
Game two, they played a lot better, I think. But again, like there are some questions I would be saying about the draft. You're picking Rise into Yone, which, yeah, I mean, Yone is just extremely just the most giga busted champ. That thing's like OP. Um, but I mean, game two, it does look like they played a little bit better. Obviously, I don't think anyone thought BFE was going to win the series. It was kind of more like Giga one-sided where CBR was going to win. It was just a matter of if they were going to win 2-0, 2-1. And they won 2-0. Both games were like, what, first one 23 minutes, second one 29. So like
Yep, both sub 30
pretty much
minutes. Yep.
it's pretty much a stomp. Um, wasn't really close. I mean, unfortunately for BFE, they're out now, right? Like that's their season. They didn't make playoffs, good for them. But I mean, CBR just looked like the better team in that series. There's not really much BFE could do. I wonder what it Enzi did play. Um, could it have been a different series? Maybe, but one player can only do so much. And CBR just looked really clean. I think they have a really, really good shot of winning the finals going in.
Yeah, I mean, again, like both of you guys said, CB Rookies has been a team that it was very hard for them to kind of it was hard for anyone to really beat them. No one knew how to kind of crack their code, right? And
Mhm.
we saw that throughout the entire season. I mean, it was like a 2-0 and then like a 2-1 and then it was another 2-0 and then another like and then they actually no, and then they lost to MIT in week 4. And then in week 5 again it was another 2-0. And I think that the one thing that we all saw coming that was when they had to pick their opponents for semifinals, like it was I mean, yeah, they had to pick between MIT or Burger Flip. So it kind of became an obvious choice for them, and so I did feel that this series was again very one-sided. It was just, well, yeah, because why would we pick the people that beat us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I do think that CB Rookies is very favored to win the finals, and they've shown why throughout the entire season. So yeah, I mean, our next series of last week was MIT versus the Chicago Dragons. So Chicago Dragons, they did use an E-sub for their jungler, so they did end up losing 2 bans, all 3 games. And do you think that contributed to this loss, Matt Pizza?
I mean, obviously having an E-sub in, it does affect the team dynamic a little bit, right? Like, this year was straight an E-sub. I'm not sure if they've practiced with them in scrims before or not, but having a non-starting player playing just does like affect like both the morale and how the team works, right? Like we've seen Chicago Dragons be super successful with their starting roster, and like I believe they did take a game off of MIT.
Yep,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
they did. It was
Uh,
2-1
yeah.
for MIT.
So, but I think like this would have been the faded rematch if they didn't have the ESUB, and that's not to say like we're not throwing shade at the ESUB. Like he did play well for just being put onto the team. Um, but yeah, I think the ESUB did just kind of mess with the dynamic a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, Matt Pizza, it was I feel like that Chicago Dragons, they started off obviously in the first week with a different roster. They would use a different top laner, a different jungler, and obviously like they had the everyone was new to this the whole competitive scene. Everyone was new to just like kind of everything.
Hmm.
And we saw that once they got their like starting roster together. They started getting everything together and they just started winning. Chicago Dragons literally did not drop a series ever since the first week. So everyone just started seeing like just how good this team actually was going into it. And I think it would have been a crazy, crazy story if I mean, if we had actually seen Chicago Dragons versus CB Rookies, because that very first week on stream, Chicago Dragons got 2-0'd by CB Rookies. And if we were to see like them just kind of go through this whole just training arc and then them getting like stronger and stronger and seeing them in finals against CB Rookies, I think would have been a crazy thing, starting and ending on the same two teams. But
It
yeah,
would have
so
been a crazy way to end the league off like that. Just
exactly. But it is a bit sad to see that the end of their journey had to be in semifinals. But again, I do think that MIT did play this series really well, even though they didn't use an ESUB, they did use a sub.
mhm.
So it was actually very interesting for me because MIT they did use a sub for thievery, and we saw this MIT roster start to kind of develop a playstyle that revolved around thievery. They put all of their resources into thievery. They were just saying, okay, we feed thievery all the gold, all of the kills, and he will carry, right? And then we were seeing so much success from MIT, like if they were able to execute that strat. And I think that was a big contributor to like their win against CB Rookies. So seeing them having a sub in the ADC position did kind of make me like think, okay, yeah, maybe they'll drop a game because I do think Chicago Dragons is still good. But yeah, at the end of the day, MIT did still pull out the 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like they got so accustomed to playing around Thievery in particular, right? So with the new ADC, it does mess with the dynamic, like we talked about with the E sub. But I guess like MIT was just more comfortable, or like they were just fine playing Kill Stura in. Sorry if I'm butchering the name.
Rip. It's
Um,
okay. Hope they're not listening. That's always me whenever I pronounce a name
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean this dude went 12-5 on Kaisa one game and he went 9-2. Like he was able to fill in Thieves' shoes pretty well for being a sub.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Clutch, your thoughts on the series?
So looking at the series, I think that obviously it was really close. Um what I will say is I actually think the E sub for Chicago actually did a really good job in the jungle. Um Even though he was a newer player to the roster, I think this guy did like he definitely carried his own weight. Like I'm looking at the games here, I have them pulled up. Um and like game 1, this was excuse my language. He fucking shit on the Skarner. Oh my, not even close. This guy's up 5k alone and the gold difference is 6k. Like he destroyed this jungler and that's ambition. That's one. Like this guy's on an all was on the all-star team and he just slapped him. Like this guy actually I job. What I will say, obviously that I think why Chicago lost is they don't have their starting mid. They didn't have Skeet. And Skeet is a very big part of their roster. Obviously, for the Chicago Dragons, their main two players, Noodle and Skeet, right? Best players on their team. Their solo lanes are so strong. You take one of them out of the equation, and that really hurts their team. I'm not saying like Marins and Tesla are bad players. I think they're pretty good players. But like when you are losing Skeet, that is one of your primary carries, and we're replacing it with someone like Token, who isn't really a carry player, hasn't like necessarily played with the team, isn't even playing his main role. Mid is not his main role. Um, like really making it hard on yourselves. And I think the fact that Chicago actually made this very close and actually almost won, because in the last game for a very long time, it just seems like they threw at the end. Like they were ahead 5 at 29 minutes. Like they were winning this game. It was looking like they were the ones going to the finals. But then MIT just, kind of aced them, got the Baron out of the game. But I just think that obviously I think if Skeet's there, it I just think Chicago's just the better team. But that's not what happened. Obviously, things happen. MIT is going to be the ones moving on. I think they look good. I think they have a lot of promise. If this is how good they play with their new ADC, I can't wait to see what one more week added onto it is going to look like because I think their ADC um, played very well. And add another week onto it with getting synergy with the team. I think this team is going to be really scary and can challenge CB rookies in the finals.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you've said. And I remember, I even remember like last week when we were putting in all our predictions, and then we all heard the news that Chicago Dragons wasn't gonna have their starting mid jungle. Everyone was like, "Yep, gotta change our predictions to MIT, right?" Because,
Mhm.
like you said, Clutch, like those two were so integral and so important to
Mhm.
Chicago Dragons' success. And without them, obviously, they are still a good team, right? They still have strength in other positions, other lanes. Obviously, they still had Noodle, and like you said, they had Tesla and Pink Penguin. But without all five pieces, it was like just what that card in the Yu-Gi-Oh, you know? If you don't have all the pieces together, you
Exodia,
can't
yep,
create exactly. You can't create the whole beast. Is Exodia even five pieces?
it is.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. So, like I said, it's Exodia. It's you don't have all five pieces, you can't make Exodia.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what
Exactly.
that's yeah. That's how I feel about Chicago Dragons. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a really great series, and it was, I think Chicago Dragons did grow a whole lot throughout the whole series and like the whole season actually. So I was really glad to see a team like Chicago Dragons join the league and see them all as new players. Like we all started somewhere, right? And seeing them get so close to finals just blows my mind.
Like this is the elemental development league. Like it is really like inspiring to see new players come in and actually like show like signs of massive improvement. Like week one, they were good individually, but like they had no sense of macro. But like as the league kept going, they started to form the macro. They started to understand how to play with each other, how competitive play works, and they were able to just take in as much information as they could about the whole entire competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then they showed up like weeks 3 to 4, and then they were just absolutely smurfed on everyone. Like they started like showing sense of like an actual good team, but I mean, yeah, uh,
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like I know we all started somewhere and I feel like I know that playing competitive when you're 5v5, like you're a whole team, you've practiced together and you just kind of get to know each other. It's a whole different game. So seeing people just like Chicago Dragons and MIT was a roster that would just slap together for EDL.
hmm
And I don't know, just seeing both these teams find so much success in so little time. It like you said, Matt Pizza, it's very inspiring. It's makes me feel like I should get back into the comp scene. But alas, stream prison.
oh, unlucky.
But yeah, I mean those were our two series, sorry, of last week. And I have a little playoff bracket. It is just the playoff bracket that we mentioned. So again, it was CB rookies versus Burger Flip, and Burger Flip lost. I'm just putting this in the slideshow just because I put a lot of effort into it, so I want everyone to see it. And we had Chicago Dragons and MIT and Chicago Dragons lost. So obviously, yeah, we are in the finals. It is a best of 5. And yeah, you really got to buckle up for tonight. But again, this is what I have, the special something. We have analyst predictions. Throughout the entire season, I always thought, who is the smartest analyst? We all had pretty similar ideas, similar trains of thoughts. But who was the smartest by numbers? I had to know. So, I went through all of the predictions, all of the games and series, and counted who won. So as we look at the numbers, obviously Clutch and I tied at 10 out of 17 series. Matt Pizza was only one short so he had 9 out of 17. And then the second number is the game differential. So basically that meant if someone guessed a series to be 2-1 for a team, but it was actually 2-0 for the team, then I kept track of that. So obviously Clutch, his was 6, mine was 4, Matt Pizza's was also 4. And then the last number, PG, was perfect games. So that was how many series we had guessed down to the games. And Clutch guessed 4 series perfectly this entire season. Matt Pizza guessed 5 series perfectly, and I guessed 6. So by numbers alone, I am the smartest analyst.
I mean, yeah, you knew the teams. You had the insider info every time you did the weekly podcast. Which, if you guys haven't checked them out, you should check them out.
True, if you just have like 6 hours sitting around in your day, you can just binge all of them.
It's
See
true.
the evolution of the teams. Get each team's POV about how they're doing and what their thoughts are on about the
It was
league.
yeah, it's week by week. Obviously they're on the YouTube, Valuables United, but that is, I mean, we are gonna be moving away from the
Hmm.
VBU branded things, but that's a whole other thing for Let's look
Another
forward
time.
for another time, another thing later. Probably in like a really big Discord message. so Matt Pizza, what happened? Why did you drop a game in your series? It was because you believe in Chicago Dragons too
I
many
think it
times,
was
or
the 1 week where I've like didn't believe in Chicago Dragons.
which week was that? Let's see. I wrote down
Uh
all of the predictions. So let's see. Matt Pizza, you believed in Chicago Dragons week 1. You know what was really interesting, Matt Pizza? You got every single series wrong in week 1.
uh
So you guessed
let's
2-0 MIT, and that didn't happen. You guessed 2-1 for Burger Flip, and that didn't happen. And you guessed 2-1 for Chicago Dragons, and that didn't happen. So
I was just we talked about the Chicago Dragons understory, but we really didn't talk about my underdog story right now. So like
What?
wait,
that's what
my
happened.
underdog story.
How does that work?
See, after week 1, I was 0 for 3 in predictions. So I mean, and then I just smurfed on it, and I was able to come back. I
It was
was
the
only like 1
second
point
week
away
you
from
did
you
not
guys.
believe. In the second week, you didn't believe in Chicago Dragons. You
Yeah.
guessed 2-1 Subversive Gaming, and then they did not win that series. You guessed 2-0 for CB Rookies, which was right. And you guessed 2-1 for Revolution when they went against Chicago Dragons, I believe. Or no, was it that week? No, that week they went against MIT, sorry. It was the first series. The 2-1 for Subversive, but it was actually 2-1 for Chicago Dragons that week.
Yeah.
So you got that
That
wrong.
I should have just believed in Chicago Dragons.
And then the next week you didn't believe in them either.
Wait, really? Oh,
They
well,
went
I
Dude,
guess
you are
against
a griefer, man.
I
they
guess I
went
need to
against
rename my Discord.
Revolution that week. Yep. So you guessed 2-1 Revolution in week 3, but it was 2-1 for Chicago Dragons that week.
Wow, Matt Pizza, I think you're just doubting your boys.
I think I am. I think
So
I'm
Matt
getting.
Pizza, if you believed in them in week 2 and week 3, you would have actually been the smartest analyst.
But I didn't.
Ah, that
Open.
looks not a good look, Matt Pizza.
It
Not a
really
good look.
isn't.
Not a good look, Matt Pizza.
So I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting. It was pretty fun to kind of look back and see our thoughts of just all the teams and all of the standings going throughout the whole season. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fun stat. So I'm the smartest analyst. I can say that. There's proof behind it. But yeah, I
You
mean,
have the stats to back you up.
yeah, I do. So, but yeah, last but not least, obviously we now have to talk about our final match of EDL Winter 2021. So, looking at our predictions, maybe this will turn the tides for you, Matt Pizza. Maybe this will make you the smartest analyst, depending on this
Hopefully.
series. Actually, no. If we're both right, okay, because we have the same prediction, so
Oh.
I would probably still be ahead of you. Okay, but anyways, Clutch said 3-2 for MIT, and Matt Pizza and I said 3-2 for CB Rookies. So Clutch, as you are the one and only person who guessed MIT, tell us why.
So before I say anything, I'm saying this to break the tiebreaker between you and me, Exernian, because at the end of the day, one
Yeah,
of us
okay.
is gonna be first.
Oh.
Okay, okay, we're still fighting for smartest analyst,
All
I
right.
see. Okay,
So
okay.
one of us is gonna be number one, and one of us is not gonna be number one. So I'll give you my reasoning why I think MIT is gonna win. Reasoning number one. MIT already beat CBR. They're the only team to beat CBR. Granted, it was a little bit of a different roster. It wasn't the same, but they are the only team to beat CBR. So that is why, one main reason why I think MIT can beat CBR. Reason number two, let's be honest. Was CBR really tested against BFE? As much as I love the boys on BFE, they weren't really tested. Okay. And you might be thinking, why does this matter? Well, MIT went against Chicago and they had to play a team that most people actually thought that Chicago was actually the number one team and could beat CB Rookies. Obviously, Chicago didn't have the strongest team, but they still beat them, which is very, very impressive. So MIT is coming into the finals with experience under their belt against a very good team. They've already beat CBR, so they know how to beat them, where CBR is coming in, where they went against BFE, where they really didn't need to do very much to win. Okay, that's reason number two. Reason number three is what I said earlier. The ADC for MIT hasn't actually played that much with the team in EDL. Now, I think in ZGG they have or something like that. But in EDL, they really haven't played with the team that much. And this is going to be another week added on to that person's experience. MIT in general is a veteran playoff organization for IBS. They consistently make the best IBS teams on paper. These players are all extremely talented. They have veterans across the board. Their jungler has been in the IBS team for so long. If this goes a best of 5, because you have to keep in mind, best of 5s are very different than best of, right? Like they are just mentally draining. Trust me, they drain your mental real quick. All right. And I mean, I'm looking at the other team. Rook Cauldron, rookie. Brave X, rookie. Pitiful, hasn't really played in IBS that much. Swag, kind of a veteran. Pain, I don't think he's played in IBS very much. So CB, I just think that they might mentally get drained over the series because, like, let's be honest, right? It's a really close series. Both these teams could win. Both these teams are very good. It's most likely going 4 or 5 games. If this does go on 4 or 5 games, they are 40-minute games. They're long games. It is going to be mentally draining on these players, right? Like, mental fatigue is actually a real thing. And especially once you start getting into 4 and 5 game series that are all like, all the games are 40 minutes. They're all really close. It does actually start taking a toll on you. And this is where I think MIT has the slight edge over CBR. I think that their mental and just how they're going to be able to play out these games, I think that they will just barely edge out on CBR. I think it's going to 5 games. I think it is literally like 50-50. You could literally flip a coin and probably get a better prediction than what any of us are going to say. One thing I do want to highlight, for me at least, it's going to be the bot lane matchup. Like, come on. It's got to be the bot lane matchup. Both these bot lanes are insane. Now, I mean, Thievery obviously probably not going to be playing. And it's going to be Rook Cauldron and Brave X. Been insane this entire split going against Calestria, whatever their name is. Okay. And
Whatever their
the
name is.
support Shadow Stealer, I believe.
Yep.
Like, both insane bot lanes, both insanely talented, both are really good. Like, you could literally make an argument that any role is going to be the role to watch. Swag Money Boy versus Ambition. Amazing matchup. Both insane junglers. Like, you could just go down the list and name whatever you want, and it would be the matchup to watch. Me personally is going to be the bot lane, and not just the bot lane. I'm looking at the supports. As a support main, I want to see the supports do something. Rook Cauldron is a massive, like, he's a playmaker for his team. This guy's all over the map making plays. Same with Shadow Stealer. I actually looked at some games last week and like was looking at like kill participation and stuff. Rook Cauldron and Shadow Stealer have like I think they both have above like 70% KP like overall, like just from last week alone. Like, these are supports who are going to be roaming. They're going to be making plays. They're not just going to stay in the bot lane and try to get the 2v2 kills. So I want to look forward to these two supports. I want to see which one of them is going to be the ones to make plays on the map and help the team. And that is why at the end of the day, I also think MIT is going to win 3-2. Drop the mic.
Mic drop. I see. Yeah, I
Okay, well,
mean, I feel that MIT has been a good team throughout the whole season. MIT did have their ups and downs, but even since the beginning, when we're still looking at their other ZGG roster, I believe, we still thought that this team was going to be one of the top teams, right? And it was really close. Like again, like I just said, like up and down the whole season. It was like they would win. They lost obviously the first week they lost against Subversive, and then they beat Revolution 2-0, and then they lost to Burger Flip 2-0, and then they won against CB Rookies, right? So it's like win lose win lose win lose, and then they lost against Chicago Dragons, and then they beat Chicago Dragons. Like you're seeing the pattern here, right? So
Uh,
I'm feeling that like this up and down roller coaster that MIT is on right now, it is so close for them. So it's like after every good series they have, they lose the next series. So just by like this kind of pattern I'm seeing, I feel like this series will definitely go to 5 games, 4 or 5 games at least. And It'll be so close. It'll be so crazy, and I guess it does become like you said, Clutch. It becomes a mental battle. You're playing these long 30, 40-minute games, and it's like it just feels like it never ends. In every single game, you're putting your best in because like you're in finals. You're in that last stretch. You're like the finish line is almost there. Like your mystery skin is almost in your hands.
Yep.
Like you're so close, and you put in like 6 weeks of work, like hours of like games and scrims and like your flex games together, and just like overall all of that time. Like you're here in the finals, right? And I do feel like this series could go either way. It becomes just at this point it becomes like just the chance of the flip of a coin almost. But like you also said, CB rookies, like they're a crazy team that has been doing so well, so consistently, like this entire season. And they're against the one team that has taken a series off of them. So I do think the series will be close. It'll be a real banger. That's about as good of that's about like as good as I can really put into words.
Before Matt Pizza or you guys keep going, I forgot to say one more thing. You guys forgot. This team still has the trump card. They haven't pulled out Chinese Spy yet. I'm telling you, if shit hits the fan, Chinese Spy's coming in, and you better run because this guy's gonna 1v9 and just carry them. All right, we forgot about him. He has not been used yet, and I've been told that if they do go down, they're not afraid to G roster that is rostered currently. They will play their starting roster, and as much as that might not be cool, like Chinese and Chinese Spy is like the faker that's on the bench. Like when this guy comes in, everyone's gonna be scared. Like this guy is gonna be a god. He hasn't been played yet, so we haven't seen him. But when he does come in, and if he does come in, that is it's gonna be
That's
a sight.
game 5 content. We got the silver scrapes going,
Yeah.
the trump card, and that's what it is. Like you said, we didn't take that into consideration because I didn't know if they were actually going to put Chinese Spy in for this series or at all.
They will if they need to. So
if they need
See,
to.
Now you're just withholding information from the rest of us just so you
What
look
do
good
you
on
mean?
stats.
He just wants to be the smartest
this-
analyst. What's going on?
This dude just wants the word. Like he
What do you
didn't tell
mean?
us this, and he told us this on stream after we gave our predictions, so he
What?
so that we can change it.
Bro, if you didn't know Chinese Spy was gonna come in for the finals, come on. That's
dude,
like
he's
He hasn't
rigging
played
EDL.
in the
EDL is
entire
rigged.
season, so I felt like it was a safe assumption.
Chinese Spy's the GOAT. Until he doesn't play a single game and then wins a chip.
That's true.
All right,
But
Matt,
it's like after Cole like went on his like monologue about how great MIT was, I'm gonna have to go on a monologue about how great CB Rookies is now. So we got the God support himself, Pitiful, right? This dude has over 2,000 assists
That's
throughout
playing
all the
support?
games, but he hasn't played support. He plays like every role, and he has 2,000 assists, right? This dude has more.
2,000 assists.
This dude has more assists than any other support in the league, right? Okay, like he's gonna be there
Is
helping his
2,000
squad.
like the actual number? Or are we like memeing?
No, it's
Oh no, that was
200.
2,000 from like week 4, so like it's
No,
more now.
wait, what? Wait, what?
2,000?
Yeah.
200?
Wait,
There's
How-
no way
200
this
or
guy has
2,000?
Yeah, it is
2,000.
like physically impossible to have it actually be 2,000 unless there's like 500 kills every game.
Alright,
No,
well,
who's the
200.
imposter?
Same,
Who's the imposter?
same
I
deal,
think it's
same deal.
Matt.
So Matt Pizza kind of sus. I saw him in electrical saying 2,000
seriously.
instead of 200.
No.
I accidentally put on an extra zero. It's okay. But yeah, 200. All right, this dude is absolutely
God.
smurfing. He's helping his team get the dub, right? Even if he's in the top lane, right? We saw him in last week's game. He got
Worst
ganked.
analyst, by the way.
Shut up. He got
True.
ganked. No, don't blame me. I'm trying to go on a vanilla,
Go
man.
ahead.
Great. Okay, sorry. Go back.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Shut up.
What?
Stop
This dude-
blaming.
This dude, okay, he got ganked on Shin. He was able to get a lead for himself, and with that lead, he was able to help his team like 16. Like his bot lane was like getting they weren't getting shafted, they weren't getting destroyed, but they were just down, right? He was able to use the lead that he got to help out his bot lane, in which turn his bot lane was able to just get bailed out of the bad situation they were in. And with that, he was able to like just make his team win all over the map. I mean, sure, that costed him some of his lead. Like I think at one point he was like completely down, but then he was able to like just I can't.
Completely down. Oh,
He's trying
But
his best.
he was just able to like help out his team, and like because of that, he was able to win. And then let's talk about like swag, right? Like this dude absolutely smurfed throughout most of EDL, right? Like I'm
not really.
pretty sure there was one week where he just wasn't himself, so it was actually an imposter playing for him. Um,
Feel like
but
imposter is Matt Pizza right now.
Yeah,
what do
what's
you
going on
mean?
here? 2,000 assists. I mean, that is
It's fine. And then we have Bravex and Rook Cauldron. Like these two people made the All Stars. Like I mean, they CB Rookies is like a stacked team. They've been good. They know how they want to play, and they've just refined it down to like this is what we got to do. This is how we get it done. And like they do have a standard play style though, which I will give that to you. Like the way CB Rookies plays, it's very by the book. Like by the comp they're
so.
running, you can definitely tell how they're gonna play, and like so that is one downside to them. But I think that they're still gonna be able to execute it in ADL.
Wait, there's one thing also we didn't consider. Did you guys listen to my podcast with CB Rookies?
Ah, no.
Uh,
Okay, that's a no. So,
I
all
said no
right.
at least.
Okay, so CB Rookies, they told me their ultimate strat. They
Wait, are
they
you
oh,
said
supposed to leak
that
this?
yes, this is fine to leak because if they said it on the podcast, it's fine for me to say
Okay, all
here.
right, all right, all right. Let's hear it. The ultimate
They're
strat.
so you know what makes them like that just like is an ultimate buff. They said
What?
to me that when they play on stream, knowing that people are watching, they play like 50 times better.
So
there you go.
there's someone on their account. Okay, so MIT just wins.
Wait.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What? So,
Account
no, no,
sharing.
no. So they said, yeah, like the thing is, CB rookies, this team, they said that when they're on stream, especially like they get the whole however long this whole series
Stream.
will take. Like they get this whole thing to themselves. And
Mhm.
I feel like them knowing like teamwork and finals, we got like this whole series to ourselves. We are on camera, you know? I feel like CB rookies, they will not disappoint.
I could see that. I mean, I mean, one question I do want to ask that I think is pretty relevant to this series, right? Um, I mean, are we done like talking about our points? Like,
Yeah.
are we good
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
I like just completely? Okay. One thing I do want to ask, for both those teams, right, is like from your guys' perspective. Obviously, I can't ask the players because I mean the game's tomorrow, and I can't ask them this.
Technically today in like an hour or so
Yeah.
by the time this
So,
is running.
so how much do you actually think nerves plays a role in this series? Right, it's finals and it's on stream. And it's 5 games and everything is on the line, right? Like I'm gonna be honest, no one remembers second place. Like that's just how it is. Like everyone remembers first, and no one really cares who the no one cares who the runner up is and who gets second. So like, how much do you guys think nerves and like anxiety is gonna play a role in the finals, especially inaugural season best of 5?
Well,
All right, no.
it depends.
Uh,
I had to think about it for a second. Well, like, okay,
mhm.
part of it depends because, like, it's everyone is different, right? I feel that some people like to be on stage. They like to know that people are watching, right? So, like, that's what I heard from a lot of people from CB rookies. And I know that if it were me, I would be, I'd be like shaken. Like, I know that even like the first times I even played comp, like it wasn't even streamed, but it was like just knowing that everything's on the line. You know, your mystery skin is on the line.
Yeah,
My
big
mystery
prize.
skin, man. Oh my god. But I feel like it will play a role. It'll depend though. I feel like it's not something we'll see immediately. I think it's something we'll start seeing probably in the third, fourth game onwards. It's around there, I think, is when we'll start seeing it. Because obviously the first 1 or 2 games, it won't matter a lot. Where they're just playing the game. They're just doing what they need to do. And then like obviously once your games start getting played and the series gets closer and closer, right? Especially if you're on the losing side. And if you lose your first game, like kind of hits morale a little bit too. But it depends. Like I don't think there is one team that is a bit more susceptible to it than the other. I do think it is a factor though, like you said.
And to go off of Exernian's point, right? Like being on stream, knowing that like a lot of people watching your every move, it does affect you. And that coupled with the fatigue of like a best of 5, like if we're going on down to like a game 4, game 5, like it is awful to see that. And I mean like even if you do mess up, that thought's gonna be in your head. Like a lot of people have seen you like miss a flash or like miss a J4 ult or something like that, right? Like just like those
How do you
small
miss a
screw ups.
J4 ult?
Well, if they
Yeah, wait,
flash,
what?
okay. I
Wait,
listen.
what?
It's a long night, okay. I got flamed. I'm just trying to like
You got flamed
talk.
for missing a J4 ult?
Yeah, how do you miss?
No, but I got flamed for missing an Arnold, and that's still stuck in my head. That's still on stream. That's on the VBU Twitch still, even
Banger.
though it's been like 6 months. But
It's a banger.
sure, let's not talk about
True.
that.
What's going on?
Yeah,
But
seriously.
it does affect like the mentality and like. No, I have no idea where I'm going with this point anymore. I'll be honest. This
Oh,
train just like
worst,
derailed as soon as
worst
that
analyst.
it hit the
Worst
Arnold.
analyst, by the way. Hit the
Uh,
Orno.
the Arnold stuck in my head now. See, it's been 6 months since that, right? Or something on the lines of that. And it's still stuck in my head. The Arnold, the clip is right there. That's how it feels. Like it's game 5. Like the
True. You'll
top
never
one, like
live it down.
it's like in EDL, right? If something like that happens, I feel so bad for whoever has to deal with that. Cause like I don't want to deal with this, but here I am. Like there, like anytime I try to flame clutch, he just brings up the Arnold, and I'm like, okay, well now like
True.
I can't say
Yeah,
anything.
just FF. Oh,
Matt Pizza, I have something to confess.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one who clipped the Arnold.
it wasn't even me.
You're the one that caused me so much pain and suffering.
And I named it Matthias Pizza the Third.
Yeah, I just
Nah.
remember being like, Matthias Pizza the Third. Oh, I remember when it was happening. I was in my dorm room and Matt Pizza missed it, and I just remember getting up and going to get water or something, and it was really funny.
Stops
Ah.
mid sentence, just like you hear the headphones just like hit the table and he's gone.
I was like, yeah, we're done here, guys.
Ah.
Don't worry,
But yeah.
I've seen some stuff in my day that you know.
But again, it's
All
okay
right.
to be human. That's the thing. It's okay.
Yeah.
If we're on stream, we see something that maybe it shouldn't have happened. It's okay to be a human. We are people. We make mistakes.
We'll say. Obviously, there's the downside of like you could screw up a play, lose your team in the game, but like you could make a highlight reel play and win your team the series, be literally the reason why you won the finals, and then like you just have that in your mind forever. Like you're playing Oriana, you land the 5-man shockwave and you win your team the game. Like how good does that feel? Like and it's casted too. Like anyone casting that just loses their mind. You clip that, and now you have a clip for the rest of your career in competitive, where like you just show this to people and just
True.
flex that like you literally like did the big Smurf play, and you're like, yeah, this was me back in silver, and like 3 years down the road, you're like
Yeah,
I remember
that was
this.
kind of insane. It's like you're a proud parent looking at your old memories, showing your kids.
Yeah.
Like-
Um.
Or
all
you
I've
could
got.
be
I don't
that
have any more
person. The
questions.
internet keeps things forever, so that's why
Yeah.
Matthias Pizza the Third. We never forget.
Yeah. We.
We really don't.
I don't have anything else. If you guys have any questions, that's what I want to ask.
True. I guess because this is the last pregame show of the season, I mean, yeah, I think it's been a really great journey. Like overall, we've we've gotten to know people in all of the teams and like other people who just seem to care. Like even if you guys don't play in EDL next split or just ever again, I think the time that we spent in these couple of weeks was really great. I mean, it's all of our first times running a league, I believe. And
Yeah.
it's been a ride. It's been a crazy ride. But again, like I think it was really nice getting to meet people and talk to people, and I think everyone that I talked to was genuinely really cool. So that's kind of all I
Yeah.
have to say for the end here.
But yeah, I guess what I'll say is that as EDL is closing up, we do have our second season coming up, right? So
In
stay
like a
tuned.
month.
Be in the Discord, turn on the notifications, and if any of the EDL players now haven't ranked out, come back, join us for season two of the EDL anime, right? Like we'll be here waiting.
Redemption work.
Season 2.
Yeah, this is when Subversive wins it all. All right,
True.
season 2. They're gonna
The
come back
verse of they're
and
back
they're
with
gonna be
a
open.
vengeance.
Uh-huh. Guys, remember at the beginning of the split, first episode, when I was like, hey guys, I'm telling you, CBR is gonna miss the playoffs and Subversive's gonna make it. Yeah, that was really let's not go and quote that at all or clip it.
Delete the VODs. Hurry.
Not go back to that at all. That was not a good prediction. That's all I've got to say.
But yeah, I guess I just wanted to like thank everyone and all the teams like for giving us a chance. You know, we're a new league and a lot of new faces to the scene, and yeah, it's been a really great ride. So I do hope to see people come back. We'd like to see people come back. That would be nice.
Yeah, straight up. That's
But
it.
yeah,
That's all I got to say.
thank you guys so much, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching Matt Pizza doing the closing remarks here. But yeah, like I said, obviously finals. CB rookies, MIT. Tonight, 6 p.m. for me, 8 p.m. for you Eastern friends. And yeah, I mean, like, stick around. It's going to be one banger series, best of 5. So make sure you guys stick around for that, and hopefully we'll see you there.